There was nothing particularly healthy about the way in which my wife and I met. I was a hardcore football playing, fraternity participating, binge drinking alcoholic throughout most of my college years. She and I both were bar hopping partiers. Both of us, by that point in our lives, were alcoholics. We knew each other for 5 months prior to getting engaged, and we were married 6 months after that. So we had known each other less than 11 months by the time we were married. I enlisted in the United States Army and called my wife from the MEP station and told her that we would be leaving for California within the next 5 months. So within a month, our entire world had been turned upside down. My wife did not handle basic training well, and neither did I. We survived it, but barely. During that time, the first few months of our reuniting after basic training, there was multiple arguments, objects thrown. It was not good. There was a moment when I was about ready to ship her off and send her back from California to Ohio, and 2 days later she found out she was pregnant with my son. Again, we were about ready to divorce. I was heading to a training for 6 months. She found out she was pregnant with my second son. So once again, we got to grow up. We got to try to make this happen. I deployed to Kosovo in May of 2001. Things were at its peak worst for us. It was broken, it was messy, it was ugly. We basically made the decision at that time that we were done. It was over. We were going to divorce when I got back. It was the first time in my life that I honestly didn't want to be alive anymore. I remember looking up in the sky and I said, God, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I'll be okay with that, because the thought of being away from my boys was too much for me to handle. Just a couple nights later, I found myself in my rack about midnight, and I kept getting this sense that get up and go to the chapel, get up and go to the chapel. And I tried to quiet down that voice, but there was no quieting it down. So I got on all my equipment and I ran over to the chapel. I was sitting in a chapel all by myself, when for the first time in my life, I really met God. God met me in a powerful way in that chapel, and he gave me an ultimatum. He breathed into my spirit and said, if you come with me, I will save you, your wife, your family, but you'll give me the rest of your life in service. If you don't, it all falls apart from here. Well, I'd been around enough Christians by that time to know kind of what to pray and what to say, and so I prayed. And something happened to me in that evening. I can't even explain it to you today. Something transformative happened, and I was literally made new. A woman who I wasn't speaking to at the time went through a horrible, horrible situation. We had some friends of ours who were Nazarenes, who'd been with us all the way since the beginning of our time in the military, who were there to pick her up, take her to my pastor's office, who became my pastor, and she received Christ that evening. I got a message the next day from my friend who said, your wife is now a follower of Christ. And a month into my journey, God had proved himself faithful. He had made a promise, and he'd seen it through. We being separate from one another, thousands of miles away, God came looking for us. We weren't looking for him. And he found me in August, found her in September. We weren't even connected at this point. But God had made a promise. God had said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to see you through. And he did it. I remember flying home from deployment. I thought to myself, here we are. We've both been following Christ for 2 or 3 months at this point. And I said, God, we didn't like each other very much when we weren't saved. What if we don't like each other now that we are? And I got off the plane that evening when we landed, and I walked into the gymnasium where our families were to meet us. And I saw in front of me the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. It was my wife. It was the first time that I'd truly seen my wife without the veil of sin over my eyes. God put us in a Nazarene church, the church that she'd gotten saved in, and we were surrounded by a community of people who loved on us, who walked with us, who poured out their lives into our lives. Getting our worlds turned upside down and inside out, my pastor took an incredible leap of faith on a brand new convert and invited me to be on staff with them in a part-time role. Those who believe that though the world is not as it should be, God is busy at work making it as it ought to be. I truly believe in transformation. I believe in the possibility of reconciliation. I believe that change can happen. I've participated in that. I've watched it change the way in which I look at my wife every single day. On our wedding day, we had family members taking bets on how long it would last. We got 6 months from one of them. We're now preparing to celebrate our 18th year together.